also have topics which is going to speak on the serverless environment. So serverless compute in the sense about Azure functions, right? So how AI is going to work with Azure. Followed by that, we will be having Azure AI with logic apps, the automation that we are going to build. I'm not speaking about Azure automation, but the logic apps that you're going to build a business flow, your automation, all these things. And we do have an awesome topic that's going to be with IoT, a live demo where you can see the IoT device, how it's going to communicate with AI, how the text speech recognition is going to work, right? So those things will also be on the air, right? So by that, I wish to give it to the hands of Kasam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
So we can start, like she's waiting.
You can see my screen. So just very quickly, I always like to give you a little bit of introduction to myself. My name is Noelle LaCharite. I was super excited and honored that Kasam asked me to do this. It is a bit unconventional and non-traditional, right, for me to do a session from, I'm in Redmond in my office. You'll see it in just a moment. But I was really just honored to be able to kind of participate in any way. I will be in India. I was in India last year for the AI tour in the summer, and then I will be coming again this summer for another event. So hopefully I'll get to see you guys then when I come. But for now, I really hope that this will be informative, and I'll do a couple demos and share with you a few links. But the best thing I can do is share with you my contact information. You can, of course, connect with me on Twitter or on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy. And then from there, I can share with you my email address. If you have any specific questions, I can help you. It's really the best way. So I want to start with that. Like, you may not think I'm going to say anything interesting or worthwhile connecting, but this information is only on the front. So just write it down just in case. And of course, we are recording this, so you'll get a chance maybe to revisit this later. So let's go ahead and get started. My role here at Microsoft is to really help developers and businesses understand the value of AI. And one thing I always like to do is really start with a quote that has kind of been with me my entire career. And I know it's weird to read you something right off the bat, but stay with me and I think you'll see why this is useful and important. So the first thing is, I'll just read it to you. So what is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child or a garden patch or a redeemed social condition. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. Now, the reason, and Bessie Anderson actually created this poem, Ralph Waldo Emerson, a famous metaphysician and poet in the United States, kind of took it and made it a little bit better. It's a poem that's kind of, or a quote that's kind of stayed with me because we are now in a very interesting age where we have more power and more technology available at our fingertips than ever before. Right, we've got the ability to leverage. Even if I'm not a machine learning expert or a data scientist, I can leverage AI models within a few minutes and access them anywhere, either on the planet or even in space. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But there's just incredible opportunity for us. And so my hope at the end of this session is that you will have an idea of how you can use AI, Microsoft, specifically Microsoft AI, to really change the world, not only as a developer, but, like that quote says, like, yes, of course, I'm going to give you tools that you're going to be able to use to create amazing businesses. But I'm also going to encourage you to look at what you can do with this technology that maybe might help schools or healthcare or elderly or, there's just infinite opportunity for our ideas to actually help improve the world. So let's just first, of course, I'm kind of contractually obligated. I sit inside of the AI engineering organization, and I need to make sure that you understand that what I'm about to show you, though it looks like magic, is not in any way magical. It is very much software written by people who sit in these offices and some in India as well. And it is a very real set of capabilities and services. The first one is Azure AI, kind of the stuff that we're going to talk about today that sits on top, the simplification, what we call the democratization of AI, the ability for us as developers or software engineers to be able to leverage machine learning models without being experts in that field ourselves. So we'll talk about this in more detail over the next 20 minutes, but it's important to understand that this sits on top of very sophisticated and elaborate computing power, which is part of what you're going to hear throughout the sessions today, right? Like how are we leveraging storage and our data lakes, and how are we able to deploy sophisticated machine learning models to drones running in space or drones running in different countries that have very low levels of internet connectivity. All of these things are capable now, and it's all based on the fact that we've got compute. To give you just a quick example, we have, the ability, you can imagine maybe even just 5 years ago, my career, my AI career really started when I joined Amazon Alexa about 5 years ago, early in the development of that product. I mean, I was like employee 2 on the skills evangelism team. So very, very early stage. Now there's like 50 people on that team, to give you context. And what I learned from kind of growing with that is that the infrastructure that is needed, it's not trivial. So for example, if I wanted to process an image on a machine 5 years ago, I might be able to at most get a CPU cluster of machines. Maybe on a really good day, I could process, a dozen images a second, which actually is a lot compared to how many I could do with my own human eyes, right? So huge improvement. But now fast forward to today, where we have FPGAs and GPUs. Now I can do hundreds of images a second. And we're just starting, scraping the surface of what our compute can do. But it takes me from me having to wait, days for a process of 100,000 images to now maybe me waiting hours, and soon maybe only having to wait minutes, right? The fact that our compute power is expanding and evolving is extremely important to why we're going to get to benefit from the simplification of using this technology. There are a ton of services available and tools available to you if you are building algorithms from scratch. You can leverage different toolkits. We have toolkits at Microsoft. There are also toolkits available at other companies that you can use. And the good news is that we've all molded around this industry standard called Onyx, which allows you to build your model in one place and actually move it around from vendor to vendor, so you can make sure you're using the best of breed products. We, of course, believe that we have that, but being able to give you the freedom to find that out for yourself, I think, is a huge part of our competitive, and beneficial landscape. So what I do want to do, though, is part of, the theme here, the simplification of artificial intelligence. How do we use this? How do we make it possible for people to infuse applications today with AI? Cognitive services has just taken off. We've grown hundreds of percentage, we've just doubled our growth over and over again, month over month, as companies have understood and started to learn how to use these. These services are basically pre-built machine learning models. So they are still models. The difference is that they are Microsoft models, right? So Microsoft built the model, meaning they built the algorithm. They then also built not only the algorithm, but then they also used our data, to train that algorithm, right? So we did the work of, and I don't know if many of you understand kind of, I'm sure you're here, so you must know a little bit about, like, the hardest part of AI is often the data gathering, the data cleaning, the data manipulation to make it usable by an AI model. So the benefit of cognitive services and pre-built AI is that we've done that work. So it's Microsoft models and Microsoft data, which is great. However, sometimes that box, you kind of hit a block, like a wall, and you say, oh, I want to do more. I want to customize this. And I'll show you an example of this in just a second. And when you hit that block, the good news is that we, unlike any other company, we provide you the ability to customize these models. So now you can customize a machine learning model like computer vision. You can create your own object detection model. And like I said, I'll show you that in just a second. But there's this huge opportunity for you not only to live within this world of pre-built models and leverage models that are built for you, but then even take those models and rather than having to start from scratch, start from where we left off and add to it. That is the magic. That is going to make people lots of money, but more importantly, make organizations and individuals extremely empowered to do the things that they need to do, especially those things to change the world that we live in. So we want to make sure you know that these APIs for using these services we're trying to meet developers where they are, right? Whether it's Windows or whether it's Python, Node, Java, whether it's a mobile application API. All of these things, what it means is that we created APIs for leveraging these pre-built machine learning models and deployed them in languages that you can use, in packages that you can use depending on your language of strength, right? Depending on what you've decided to focus on. Now, here's my favorite part. This is where you get a glimpse into all of the models you have at your fingertips. Now, I decided not to list these in terms of the names of the models. You will be able to go look that up and find out what the name of the actual model is and the API name and all of that. This is more based on the kind of the capability that you're given. So just look at the things, and I'll show you in just a few minutes, look at all the things that you will have the ability to do, right? You have the ability to do object detection, scene detection, facial recognition. You know how hard that was to do even just 5 years ago. Speech transcription, turning speech into text, right? Turning text into speech, being able to create basically use a deep neural network to create synthesized speech, language detection, sentiment analysis, right? Creating bots in minutes. I'm going to show you how to build one today. It's just incredible what you can do. So the next step, of course, usually people, the very next thing we want to do is there's an interest in actually seeing what I'm talking about. So I want to go in and just show you a couple of things. The first thing is we've got this really great tool called the Intelligent Kiosk. And some of you may have heard of it before or used it before. But I'm going to show you something I think is pretty cool. It's called the Custom Vision Explorer. It allows you, it's just a web application, right? This is deployed as a Windows app. I installed it through the Windows, like on my Windows machine. I'm going to actually show you how to build this from scratch. But let me just show you really quick how this works, right? So you can see up here in the corner, there is, and I'm hoping you guys can see my screen okay. There is the ability to pull in live video, but there's also the ability to look up content on Bing. I'm going to pull in a live video so you guys can actually see me, hopefully. Can you see me in my nice office? So what I'm going to do is actually imagine if this is like a web application or a mobile application. And I take I'm just grabbing a sticker right here. I take a sticker, I take a picture of me. Wait, I have to go and take a picture. So let's see what happens, right? So you'll notice what happens is it automatically tells me my gender. You can see it's a little lady symbol, tells me my age, gives me a bunch of tags. All this happens through a single web call. Extremely important to understand. This is like a single call to an app, our AI model, and it gives you back all of this metadata. So it'll tell me that I'm a person posing for the camera. I'm not a celebrity, at least not yet. It shows me all the colors that are used. But now let's see what happens when I turn on OCR, which is the ability to extract text from what's on here. So you'll see, look, it was able to pull the text right off that sticker I was holding, right? And it says AI for every developer, Microsoft AI. Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. You'll also notice over here the ability for me to drop down this list and do handwriting, right? So let's say it was a handwritten note. I could even do OCR on things that people have written down. This is all done through a web application, like a web service. It's incredible. I mean, I'm just shocked by it. Let's also look at object detection. So there is a object detection model built. And so you can see here, it's able to identify me as a person. It can see my shelf behind me. You can actually augment or transfer learn on top of this model if you want to teach it, like if I wanted it to know my frames or the specific books or the computer I have on my shelf. But even alone, just look at what we're seeing here, right? We see object detection. We see a person. It shows us the confidence interval of what it thinks, shows me my age, my gender. The only thing I would love is maybe add in sentiment analysis, which is available, right? A little happy face or sad face, depending on what I look like. And then it's able to pull the text right off the sticker I'm holding. I mean, that's pretty cool. And all of this is done through a single web call. So another, well, first I'll make sure, obviously, if there's any questions that come up, you guys are welcome to like chime them in. But that's like, so that's a really good example of using computer vision, using some of these models in a web application. Usually the very next question that I get from people like you guys who are listening to this is like, okay, great, but how do I do that? So here's the good news. That's not it. In this application, you'll notice I'm on GitHub. So if you go to GitHub, you can actually grab the intelligent kiosk sample, the one that I just showed you. You can download the code, and we give you instructions on how to load it. And all of this is open source. But look at this, right down here. This is the exact same app that I just showed to you. The exact same one, right? OCR, right? Tags. So you could just grab this code and start from here. In my mind, as far as like what you could do. There are also dozens of samples. The intelligent kiosk is just one of them. There are dozens of cognitive services samples out there that you can use that we have built for exactly this purpose, right? How do I build apps that use this technology? You shouldn't have to start from scratch. All right, cool. So we've gotten through that. The next thing I want to show you, which I also think is pretty cool, is the ability to create a bot in just a couple minutes. Now, I always try to create something fun. So I did do a little bit of research, and I went out and found this website called ESPN Cricket Info. I think cricket's a thing, right? Anyway, I'm going to learn to play it one day, maybe. Maybe I get to watch. I don't know. But this is the Indian Cricket League. It's actually got an FAQ right on the ESPN site. So I'm going to grab it, grab the URL, and show you how to create a bot in just a couple minutes. So this is using a service, another web service called Q&A Maker. It's a web application. I'm just going to type in, let's say, cricket assist. So I always encourage you when you're creating bots to name them in a way that a user understands its job, as opposed to naming it something like Henry or Bob or John, right? Like give it a name where people are like, oh, cricket assist, it's probably going to help me with cricket. Now notice here, I'm going to give it a landing page. I'm actually going to put it on the exact same page that I deployed. And now you'll see here, in order to build, I'm literally going to build a bot with a language understanding model. And it says here, create a new knowledge base from a URL. I'm going to create a brand new language understanding AI model from a website. So let's hope this works. So I'm going to paste in, right? And you saw that page, right? It had a bunch of stuff on it, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to create this. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a language understanding model. It's called Lewis, is our service. A language understanding model. I'm then building a dialogue based on Q&A, based on the questions and answers it's able to extract using text analytics from that page. Extremely interesting, right? And in a couple minutes, it's then going to overlay that right, not a couple minutes, I guess a few seconds. You'll notice here, it overlays it right on top of the screen. I hope you guys can see this. It's so cool. So you can see here, this bot just opened up. It says, hi, I'm a bot, right? This is just for demo purposes. It's like creating a POC to see if you can use it. But look, it was able to extract 9 questions, right? So, you know, we see a bunch of questions. So look here, I could type in all these questions verbatim, and of course it'll come up. But the purpose of a language understanding model is that maybe I don't type it exactly right. So look here, it says, what is the format of the tournament? What if instead I put in, what's the format of the game? It is able to figure out that I meant the format of the tournament, which is what the page that I'm on, and then it actually goes and pulls it up. Pulls up the exact answer, tells me that there's going to be whatever, 20 teams, matches, etc. But look how very quickly it is, and most importantly, it provides me the ability to go in and like test out this bot within, like you saw, within a couple seconds. Here is why this is important. AI is a constant experiment. We are now doing AI in mainstream, like production applications, but it's still an experiment and it will still fail probably more than it works. So how can we get into that prototyping phase and the development phase as quickly as possible to get feedback by not only the end users, but our business users that are asking for this, and say, like, let's say I present this and they go, oh, I really like it, but I'd rather you have this, or, they give me any kind of feedback that they want. I can now go back and tweak this. So let me just show you the website that was built with, so you guys can go and do it yourself, because it's pretty interesting. It's called qandamaker.ai. And this is literally where you can go and build a bot in a couple of minutes based on any FAQ URL. There does have to be questions and answers in it. That does have to happen. But as you saw, it was pretty simple. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to just show you one more thing as part of this, and then I'll close up. And certainly if we have a couple questions in the audience, I'm welcome to take those. But you'll notice right now, it's just, look, I just built that Cricut Assist. Here it is. I can go in, look at it, and you'll notice here's all the questions. Now, let's say somebody wanted to say, instead of what is the Indian Cricket League, maybe I wanted to say, what is the ICL? Like, I wanted to add more questions to that dialogue. All I have to do is click plus and add in those questions. What is the ICL? Right? And so now when I do that, all I do is save and train the model, and that live bot gets the benefit of that change. Now, super secret sauce. I think you guys know, like Alexa, I actually have built skills for the Indian Alexa implementation. But just to give you a hint, when I was in Alexa, the way we built and trained our assistant model was literally this way. We would wait for people to use it. We would hear what they said. If it failed, we would take the failure, go into a model just like this, manually add in what people were saying. And over time, the model got better and better and better. And so this is exactly how you create a functioning bot. Be prepared for it not to be awesome at first. But the good news is you've got time, and people have never been more tolerant of like not perfect applications when it comes to bots and when it comes to voice. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of give you a quick rundown. I think I've went through 7 AI models in about 8 minutes. So hopefully you guys found that beneficial. I'm just going to return back to my session really quick and show you one thing, which is our, it's not going to work, sorry, which is our community. So if you want to join a community, which is where I do all my live coding sessions, I do all of, I post all of the content that we're going to be delivering on YouTube. I do all of early access. You guys can join this group on Facebook if you choose to, and I am here to help you. So hopefully I didn't take up too much time, and I certainly want to honor any questions in the schedule. And like Kasam, if there's any questions, you're welcome to type them in the chat or tell me. But that's kind of a high-level overview of what you can do. I think it's an incredible time to be in this space. There are so many things you can leverage through a simple web service. And today we've even got a single key. So you can get a cognitive services key that gives you access to, rather than having to download one key for every model, you can get access to computer vision, to language, and to search, all within a single key. And it really shrinks the amount of code you need to do this work. So really exciting. I am so happy to have met you. I wish I could be there in person, but please let me know if there's any questions. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it's awesome.
Thank you. Any questions?
Oh, okay, really quick, because there's no questions, I'm going to show you the other things I had to show you. So there are a bunch, and I'll maybe I will paste these into the chat, and Kasam, you can share them with everybody. But there are, I was showing you the samples in GitHub. There's also the AI school. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but this is like actual classroom training that's done remotely, or I should say, you know, at your own pace. So you can go in and learn all about like much more formalized training on intelligent edge, deploying to containers, conversational AI. If you are building models from scratch, which some of you may be doing, we also have an AI gallery, and you can go in by industry and find existing models that are free for you to use. You literally can download the models and edit them from there. And then finally, a bunch of really fun projects in AI labs. This is where we have like the JFK files, just a bunch of really fun applications. But the benefit to it, I'll just go into JFK for an example, is that in the JFK files, we actually provide, for all of these, we provide you the source code. So you can build these projects and reuse the technology to make it easier for you to integrate this software into your own applications. So I'll paste all these links in. I hope this is just the beginning of your journey into leveraging these models, because really we could build things that we've never been able to build before in record time. So super fun. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thank you very much for your time, Noelle. And any questions? Right. Okay. Hey, Noelle, thank you very much for your awesome session.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.